Thousands of mourners gathered in Tracy, California, the hometown of 8-year-old Sandra Cantu, to pay their final respects to the murdered child. More than 3,000 mourners. There you see on the right, the little child's mother right there in the glasses. Many of them weeping, comforted by U.S. Senator Barbara Boxer and California's Attorney General Jerry Brown, all remembering and celebrating beautiful Sandra's short life while still reeling from her gruesome death. Meantime, allegations mount against her accused murderer and rapist Melissa Huckabee, a mother herself and a Sunday school teacher who remains behind bars on a suicide watch after reportedly downing razor blades in a suicide attempt. Joining me to discuss the latest, Stacey Honowitz, Florida prosecutor, Joanna Greenwald, a criminal defense attorney. Joanna, we know Huckabee was on probation, as we've discussed, for petty theft. She was required by the court to attend mental health counseling. So how could that play out when she goes back to court next Friday to enter a plea to these ghoulish charges against her?
Well, how I see it playing out is, one, the threat of a violation of probation is hanging over her head. And so that's number one, that could be coming right down the pike. That just hasn't happened yet because, again, she was on probation. And so now she's charged with a serious crime so serious, in fact, that if she's found that she committed this crime with the rape and in the process or kidnapping, she could face the death penalty or a life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. This is a very significant situation. And going back to the mental health issue that you asked me about, and screening and things like that, is that we don't know what, when you have probation, they give you specific things that you need to do. If it was to go to mental health, that might have just been for just therapy. If it was significant enough, DSS, probation, and the judge would have, it's their duty, would have tipped off DSS because she had a child herself. If she was that dangerous.
When you're saying child protective services. Go ahead, Stacey.
First of all, Jane, the idea that the threat of a violation of probation is hanging over this woman's head for petty theft is so, it makes no difference. She's looking at murder and rape charges in this case. Here's what's lining up. They're lining up probably a mental health defense. That's exactly what the lawyers are going to try to do. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're lining up a not guilty by reason of insanity.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
I mean, that's what, you know, they're going to
guess what? When she was going through her petty theft case, she had to have a mental competency examination, and she was judged to be competent to stand trial, even though she ended up. But what I'm saying is, could that be used against her if she tries to plead not guilty by reason of insanity?
No.
Could they pull out that old report and say, hey, look, you were sane just a few months ago?
No, what will happen is, Jamie, you know, when you do a not guilty by reason of insanity, they do search all the way back. They're going to interview family members. They're going to look at prior court records. All of those things, were you insane at the time of the offense, not whether you were competent back then. But I tell you what might play a role. The idea that she tried to kill herself after the fact can certainly be looked at. Well, you know what? You did know right from wrong, because maybe you tried to kill yourself because you know what you did was wrong.
Or maybe she was just
scared
out of her mind. Or maybe she was just scared out of her mind.
It's kind of funny because everybody assumes that it means that you're crazy, but when you really think about it, an attempt at suicide does show more likely that you do know right from wrong, not that you're crazy.
Right, and especially, and remember that the family members, all along during when she was first arrested, were very quick to come on board and say, listen, we can't believe that she's a wonderful girl, she's normal. So they will all be interviewed to see whether or not there was some kind of psychosis or something going on prior to the incident. But again, you know, I'm just thinking that down the pike, this is what the setup is, especially if she was court-ordered into some kind of mental health probation.
Well, they're going to do that immediately. The mental health defense, the sooner you do it, the better as far as a criminal defense attorney.
Okay, we got to go. We're going to stay on top of this, though. Joanna, Stacey, stay right there. Turning to another tragic story of a murdered young girl, Kaylee Anthony. Stunning new twist tonight.